So let's take a look at the datamine for the new Gear Lab things. And let's start with the easy ones. So the purple AA gun is garbage because it's fast, but it's still worse in every way than the current fastest gold AA gun, and this gold AA gun isn't useful anyways. And the purple one is just worse. And this purple CL gun is also useless because it's purple and it has bad spread, and like it's just not useful. And I don't think it's useful even for battleships, because for battleships you can quite easily get some gold guns. And for the old gun that's getting added, the Mark 7 is the best HG gun for battleships, but it's very expensive, so the cost is over here. And basically you should craft it from the bottom tree unless you for some reason have a +11 Mark 6 and you want your gold plates back. Like if you're willing to pay 2 extra UR design plans and 44 extra electronics for 35 gold plates, then go ahead. But otherwise just craft it from the bottom one. But this is still lower priority than Wyverns to craft in terms of your selectable UR design plans. But I would say that this is quite a bit higher priority than the other gun that costs these UR main gun design plans, which is the DD gun. Now let's move on to the more interesting things. So here's a gold AA gun, and the gold AA gun has pretty bad AA, but it has a skill. So in terms of AA, it has 29 range, which is poor, and 1.28 seconds for 107 damage is also poor. So like in terms of DPS, that would be 107 and 1.28. It's like this one, but worse in every way, including a difference of 3 range, which is quite big. But it has a skill, and this skill well, in this case the translation works out. So basically when a Vanguard ship and Sakura Empire Vanguard ship is equipping this gun, then her firepower increases by 5%, except when this gun fires. Because this is a short-range A gun, so it's mixed in with the rest of the Vanguard, when the A circle fires at enemy airplanes, for 3 seconds after it fires, the firepower effect is halved to 2.5%, and I verified this in the code, so the translation works out here. And 5% firepower is quite good on like heavy cruisers and large cruisers. So Azuma and Unzen have well over 300 firepower, and 300 firepower, 5% of that is 15 firepower, which beats the 134. This thing, 134 millimeters, it has 15 firepower. So well over 300 firepower, and even if it's down to 2.5% firepower at some times, it's still good. So when there are no enemy airplanes, then this new gun is the best by a lot for these Sakura Empire cruisers. Probably not light cruisers and destroyers because they're torpedo focused, and they would prefer stags for the hit anyways, and they have low firepower. So underneath 300 firepower, the 134 millimeters is better. And even when there are enemy airplanes, if there are a lot of enemy airplanes like in chapter 13 or 15, then you wouldn't be using either of these guns. You wouldn't be using the firepower gun, and you wouldn't be using the new firepower gun either, because they have 4 AA. So when there are enemy airplanes and they're not big deal, this new AA gun is still good. I would say it's still better than the 134 millimeters. So last one is single 133 millimeters, and this thing power creeps the blue 76mm gun, if you can call it power creep. So this blue gun, you previously, since it has the fastest reload, you previously put it on torpedo and barrage destroyers like Shimakaze and Kazakumo. And this thing has 0.67 seconds of reload and 50 range, 50 targeting range. The new gun has 0.7, so slightly slower, very slightly slower, but it has 55 range, 55 targeting range. And according to this completely unrelated thing to Azur Lane, the new gun fires 124 times in a 90, I think it's 90, it's either 80 or 90 second battle, while the 76mm is only fired 122 times, so it's basically the same, but the new gun does have more firepower and it does do a lot more damage. So even though the ships you would use these two guns on have very weak guns, like something is better than nothing, and this is clearly a lot more damage than the blue gun does. And also 5 more range, 55 versus 50 would make it more consistent as well. And if you're crazy enough to plus 13 this new gun, because it's gold and it's plus 13able, you can get 3% Siren Killer extra in Operation Siren. So basically against arbiters, and that's all. However, the cost. Obviously the blue gun is cheap, and this gold gun it costs 24 electronics. So yeah, it's for rich late game or end game players. Min-maxing. Consider the gold gun to be just stronger in every way than the blue gun.